92.5 FM.
And I'll tell you about today's brand new drug. One day together, you and me, Carlyon.
I tell you what.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'll make this clear, okay? It's our one show together, like in a month. If you don't have your A game, you can walk right back out there in the rain,
yeah,
okay?
If you can't bring it today, you probably don't have it in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, is it a bad thing that I was in here and I saw you drive up and it was just pouring and I snickered?
Yeah,
is that a bad?
I don't blame you.
I mean, it was
I was like, where did this come from?
It wasn't an outright guffaw. It was just sort of a snicker.
And I'm not usually the wait in the car to see if it stops guy, but it came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like
it
really didn't start raining until I was like 500 yards from the station. And there was nothing else around, so I was like, okay, I've got like 15 minutes. And,
I got time.
I'm going to just sit here.
I got nothing but time.
And this will pass. Well, it did not. And so I finally, at like 3:57, was like, I better break for the door. So, it's a little wet, but that's fine.
All right. JJ LaSelva, double duty today. What's up, JJ? You
Yo,
good?
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I enjoyed the photos.
I appreciate it. We had a fun...
I was living vicariously through you.
I'm glad you were. We had a fun getaway. The Cape Cod is just magnificent. It is just one of the magnificent getaways. Now, I will say this. I got the best wife. She's such a sweet wife. But we vacation. We have a little different ideas. My wife likes to relax. So someday maybe spend a day in the cottage, maybe go for a little walk, relax, sleep in. Well, I'm not that guy. You know, I'm antsy guy. Go. So she said, we on the plane coming back, she said, do you think, it was a great, I said, you have fun? Yeah, it was a great vacation. But do you think one time, just next time we go on vacation, maybe we can spend 20 minutes not going somewhere else? We'll have to see. So, but we had a wonderful time, fun getaway. Great part of the world. It really is. JJ, you know Boston pretty well.
I love Boston.
It's really a great place to go. So you and
I made the mistake of going the week before Thanksgiving a couple years ago when it was 19 degrees.
Cold.
So next time I'll probably go
summer's
back
better.
Summer. Yeah,
summer's better. But you guys have gotten up there.
Yeah, and we're actually coincidentally leaving Friday to go back to Boston because we've got the Foo Fighters show at Fenway Park Sunday.
How good is that? Mm-hmm. I mean, that is fantastic. So let me tell you what. I left the weather in good shape for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
It is very good. We had a wonderful Italian restaurant on the north end. We celebrated our 33rd.
Nice, happy anniversary!
Thank you. And it was like a day early, but it was just a wonderful get. It was a wonderful getaway and really a wonderful time. And I'm telling you, it is a great part of the world. And we vacation in a lot of cool places. I've told this story many times. Suzanne likes cooler weather more than warm weather, so we get away, and it was really nice. We had a good time. By the way, the Cape Cod baseball. I tried to explain that to somebody. You know, it's amateur baseball. It's all the good college players, and there's 10 teams all in Cape Cod. And Cape Cod's interesting because there's all these little villages. JJ, you've been to Boston. You been to the Cape or no?
No.
Okay, so it's got all these little villages, and they're just wonderful and charming, but they're different. It's like you could be in Mayport 1 minute and Palm Beach the next. It's just very different settings. Fernandina Beach one day, and then Daytona Beach the next. So they're all so it's a wonderful getaway, and we had a wonderful. I mean, it really had a wonderful time. So it is. I mean, I'm just telling you, it was one of the best getaways we've had in a long time. So we had a blast. We really did. So it was a lot of fun, and so we had a wonderful time, wonderful getaway, and lots of fun. The baseball, Hays, is so cool. It's like South Georgia football, South Georgia high school football. They're little communities, and when Valdosta plays Thomasville, buddy, you don't want to lose that one because the communities come out. Well, that's how these baseballs are. Even though you don't know the players because they get new players there. When I went to the Cotuit Park just to see the park. I love baseball parks. I'm weird that way. And then we were going to the Cotuit Hyannis game that night, and I'm talking to the Cotuit guy that runs it all. He said, "Hey, we play at Hyannis tonight. It's like 10 miles away. We play at Hyannis tonight." I said, "Yeah, I know. I think I'm going." He said, "You going?" I said, "I am going." He said, "Who are you rooting for?" I said, Cotuit. I mean, you and all these Cotuit people are all around. You kidding me? Who do you think I'm rooting for God's sake? I'm rooting for Cotuit. And but it's really cool. It's a fun getaway, and so we had a great time and spent time in Boston as well. All right, a lot of things to get to. We have one day to do this show together. Then I'm headed to Dallas tomorrow. We're going to try and check in with our friend Matt Hays. Mia O'Brien, Matt, and I will be at the SEC Media Days. So all three shows will be represented there. Mia will represent Helmets and Heels at noon. Matt will be on with the primetime with his primetime guys at 2, and then I'll be on at 4 o'clock. And we hope to have tomorrow's a big day now. Tomorrow's the day Texas, Georgia, among others. So we'll certainly talk about that. Greg Sankey talked today a little bit. We're trying to get Matt to track Matt down a little bit today just to see kind of first day review, and then I'll be here for the rest of the day. So a lot of SEC talk coming up. Can you believe football's here?
It's here.
I mean, that's really
thank goodness.
That's the message for today, isn't it? That we go on vacation, you get away, and you get through the summer, and all of a sudden you look up. We're 9 days from now. The Jags are on the field.
Yeah, and rookies report Friday.
Right.
Not that that's all in house for a few days, but still, it's just that's how close we are. If you're a rookie on this Jaguars football team, you've got about 3 more days of fun times, and then you're going to be in the grind until hopefully early February. So it is here, and obviously SEC Media Days. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys' your coverage. I know it'll be fantastic. And we've got Lane Kiffin and Brian Kelly speaking today, and so it's well underway. So it is here. It is obviously we've got to be a little patient until the actual games start. But in terms of news, we're very close to hitting a point of the year where you will have football news for basically 6-7 months.
Yeah, and in a year where, again, I've used the word trajectory before. The trajectory of the Jags is very positive. They're coming off, regardless of how last season ended, they're coming off back-to-back winning seasons. They're coming off 1 year where they won the division, 1 year where they would have won the division had they won their last game of the year. They've had 18 regular season wins in the last 2 years. They've had a playoff win in the last 2 years. They have a quarterback for the ages for here, signed for the long haul. They've got a pass rusher for the ages, signed for the long haul. And Hays, I think they've repaired a lot of the problems on the roster. I feel that way.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're better on paper than they were last season and the year before that. So from a talent standpoint, I do think they're better. It now just comes down to the new acquisitions and how well they gel and how good they're going to be here. But yes, I think there's reason to be optimistic. It is a very challenging AFC race, as we know, but I think it is a very fair expectation to expect them to make the playoffs and hopefully at least win one game, if not more, in the tournament. So it should be a really exciting fall. And again, you mentioned the young pieces. We know we haven't seen the best football from Trevor Lawrence yet. He's not even close to the peak of his career. Josh Hines-Allen, I think is still not really at the piece close, but I still think that he's not at the peak of his career. And, somebody like Trayvon Walker, I mean, it could be an extraordinary jump that you see Trayvon Walker make in his third year. So really exciting to see how this club comes together. Certainly there's some concerns, but they're not deal breaker concerns like it's been for many years with the Jaguars, where you just knew that, barring a mini miracle, they weren't going to be overly competitive. Well, this is a team that, absolutely the floor for this team should be 9 wins. Anything below 9 wins, everybody in that building should be incredibly disappointed by that. And as we've pointed out, 9 wins, that's if you win 9 games in a season, you're in the top third best teams in the Shad Khan ownership era, which is now, 11, 12 years. So, it should be an exciting fall. It's a tremendous race in the AFC. It's why that Miami game right out of the gate is so critical, because that could be a game that you're worrying about, tiebreaker implications, and you're reflecting back to, well, at least thank God we have that week 1 win in Miami, because it might be between us and the Dolphins, for either seeding or a spot.
If you split the league in half, in my opinion, Hays, if you split the league in half, right at 16-16, and it's not that binary, but indulge me for a second. If you split it in half, and half of the teams either are long shots to make the playoffs, aren't going to make the playoffs, or can only be hopeful, and the other half have a reasonable expectation to be in the postseason, the Jags are in the second half. The Jags are in the half that I think reasonably can expect to be there. That doesn't mean they're equal to the Chiefs. That means if it's 16 that can reasonably expect to be there and 16 that don't have as much of a chance to be there, the Jags are in the first, not the second. We haven't always been there. You could always, in local talk radio, I'm probably as guilty as anyone of trying to make myself believe they were there. But if you're being realistic, there's more times than not that if you drew that line right down the middle, we were on the wrong side of that line. I don't think anybody, even the national pundits that lost some confidence in this franchise because of the way it ended last year, even the national pundits, I would agree they're in the top half of that group, not the second half.
I think it would be close if you're talking about national, because you've seen anywhere from like them coming in somewhere between like 14th and I've seen as late as 22nd. So, I mean, there's going to be some that you see in the national media that believe they're on the bottom half, but I don't believe that that's the case. What their biggest issue environmentally is the conference. I mean, just the fact that between the Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Chiefs, maybe the Chargers, Steelers, Texans, maybe the Colts. That it's just a deep AFC. So that's what I think gives you some pause. But from a on paper standpoint, yeah, I think they're one of the top 16 teams in the league. And the thing that I like about this roster is I think if you go 1 through 7 with this roster, I don't know that it stacks up all that well to the other contenders. But if you go 1 through 25, I think it absolutely does. I think when you look across the board at the Jaguars, they have a quality answer at way more spots than most contending teams have.
All right, so today on the program, we'll talk some Jaguar football. What are you looking for? Camp is 9 days away. That's when they're on the field. Kevin Kaplan, the team doctor, one of my good friends and does a great job, real respected within the league. He'll be by today in the 5 o'clock hour to talk about the condition of players. What do you do to keep them in shape? Nutrition in the offseason. Cap knows that better than anybody. He'll be by in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to try and track down our friend Matt Hays. He is already at the SEC Media Days. I want to get a sort of a first day recap from Matty, see how it worked there. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk some SEC Media Days as it has begun today. It is a Best Bet Monday. We sure appreciate our friends from the Best Bet. Always a Best Bet Monday around here. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva with you on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show
From the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
Didn't do much to impress out there today, did you?
The Drill.
You're a comedian. You make people laugh.
I try.
You think it's all a big joke, don't you?
Mornings on 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
This is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. We've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here, and it's changing the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your home. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. I love the roulette. It's so much fun. It is so easy, and you can't find it anywhere that's better than MyBookie. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL and a revamped loyalty program ensuring a host of exclusive VIP perks. Don't miss out on the revamped MyBookie Casino. Use promo code 1010XL. Don't forget that. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
College football starts with SEC Football Media Days.
Let's go!
Players, coaches, college football insiders.
He's our quarterback. He's our leader.
Brought to you by Window World of Northeast Florida and Kanaya Water Jacksonville on 1010XL.
Pickett here. Brace for hurricane season with our friends at Rhino Shield. Their home exterior coatings withstand 96-mile-per-hour wind-driven rains, keeping your home safe and dry. Rhino Shield's advanced ceramic technology also helps keep your home cooler and reduces your energy bill. This summer, take advantage of their 30% off, 0% interest financing offer, plus a 25-year warranty. Call Rhino Shield, 414-4868. That's 414-4868 for a free estimate, or visit rhinoshieldjax.com. That's rhinoshieldjax.com.
Golf's oldest event goes back to the land of whiskey and wool.
Look at those scenes coming down the 18th.
1010XL's coverage of the Open Championship in Scotland is brought to you by Vaughan Motor Group.
Oh, he's only got it done it.
Follow the leaders on 1010XL.
The Sunshine State says it all in the nickname. That summer sun in Florida can take its toll on an air conditioning unit and send your electric bill through the roof. Florida Home AC can help you handle the heat with a brand new AC unit with low monthly payments and over $3,000 in federal tax credits on select systems. So this summer, don't sweat it out. Cool off with Florida Home AC, the official AC company of the Jaguars. Call them today, 777-4300, and check out their tremendous savings on a brand new AC system.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Mystic Cornhole Company builds the best high-quality custom boards right here in Jax. Perfect for weddings, tailgating, your business, a day at the beach, and a great gift idea for you-know-who. See their designs at mysticcornholecompany.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva with you. As we get set for football season to begin. We'll talk some Jags coming up in just a bit. Again, Kevin Kaplan with us in the second hour. How good a shape everybody in, and what do you do to keep guys in? So I think that's what's the off season like for the? I guess that's when you have surgeries. I guess that's if you're gonna have surgery, have it right after the season, right? And we'll have Kevin take us through that process, and then talk a little bit about this year's guys. Are we ready to go? So we'll get to that. Let's start with the SEC. Greg Sankey spoke today. That was kind of the headline. And again, Matt will join us at some point today to talk about that, and then I'll be there the next 3 days. Said I'm not in the recruiting business. I've answered the question 3 times. I'm not going to talk about future. I'm going to talk about now. I get it. but you didn't get the sense he shut it down, did you? You didn't get the sense that they're staying at 16 for forever and ever?
I think they are willing to stay at 16, and I think they're in a ideal position because adding Texas and Oklahoma were the ultimate trump cards here. It's geographically fantastic. It's obviously an amazing acquisition from a football logo standpoint. So, I think if it stays at 16, I really believe 16 is about as many as you can have before it starts to almost, is it still a conference? I mean, it's just, to me, there is a number where it starts to get ridiculous, and the Big Ten may be willing to go to that number. The Big 12 has a lot and certainly would love to expand. But I just think if you're the SEC, you've got a great thing going. If the circumstances in the ACC change and that conference truly dissolves, then yeah, how could you not want to pick up some of the great programs that are in that conference? But if for whatever reason FSU and maybe just one other school, Clemson, let's say, is the only ones to leave the ACC, and the Big Ten has a deal with them and they go to the Big Ten, I don't think the SEC has to do anything. So, barring just there being implosion of the ACC, I don't get the sense the SEC has to do anything. I think they have the perfect number. I think they've got more than their fair share of football heavyweights. So every year they know they're going to deliver a tremendous product because 5 of those teams are going to be really good to elite. So I think Greg Sankey is put himself in a checkmate position where it really doesn't matter what his competitors do. I think the SEC is going to be the dominant brand in college football in terms of conferences until they ultimately decide to join the Big Ten and just break away and do almost a completely different reimagining of the sport. But until then, I think as long as this is the climate, the SEC is going to be king.
Yeah, and I think what's happened here is they've put themselves in good spot. They've put themselves in good position, they and the Big Ten, to be very comfortable when you answer the question. You know what I mean? I mean, it's very clear that Greg Sankey's very comfortable saying, we'll see. I'm good. We're good with 16. But the point is, at no point did he say we're staying at 16. He said we're comfortable staying at 16 if that's where it needs. But what I took out of that is, okay, what we all know is happening is when the right 2 teams come along or the right teams come, and it'll be 2, by the way. He was clear about that in the past. He said nobody wants to be at 17. Nobody wants to be at 15. So the right team, it would have to be a pair of teams. So we'll see. So what happens? I'm very interested. I'm really interested, Hays, to feel the vibe. I've been to this thing 36 times. I got a feel for it, right? But I'm very interested to feel the vibe of this year's event. It's in Dallas, number one. That is, say what you want, where it is does matter. I don't like it, by the way. I don't like it in Dallas. Dallas is a wonderful town. It's a fun town. But the SEC Media Day should not be there. I'm not afraid to tell you that.
Next year it'll be at Atlanta, they announced today.
It's going to be in Atlanta. I'm not afraid to tell you that I miss Birmingham. I never thought I would, but that's something about Birmingham is where it probably ought to be. And so I'm glad it's coming back to Atlanta. I think the plan was to go Nashville, Dallas, and then see where they were. I can tell you, having conversations with people in the league, we knew these were coming. Atlanta's the easiest to get to. Atlanta's a wonderful city. I still don't know that it's the best place for the SEC Media Days, but that's a thought. But the point is the vibe with Texas. And boy, the SEC is going out of their way to welcome Texas and Oklahoma. The all-day long SEC network coverage last week, I think it was. So I'll be interested to see the vibe. It wasn't going to feel different back in the 90s when South Carolina and Arkansas came on board. It wasn't going to feel different when Texas A&M and Missouri came aboard. With all due respect to those 4 programs, you're not going to feel different because you've already got Alabama and Georgia and LSU and Florida and Tennessee and whoever. But Texas and Oklahoma are different. Your world can feel different when Texas and Oklahoma are there. I mean, it's look, if you've got some opening act joining your band or joining your concert, no one's going to pay much attention. But if all of a sudden Billy Joel and Elton are opening for your show, well, now that changes it. For the longest time, the SEC has added the REMs and Coldplays of the world. 2 wonderful bands, but they're REM and Coldplay. This year, they just added Billy Joel and Elton John. They just added Hall of Famers. So I'm interested to see how different it feels.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your coverage down there because it will be different. It's a new era for the league, and it is one that they could stay in perpetuity. They don't have to do anything, which is again why I think that the move that Greg Sankey made was so savvy in getting Oklahoma and Texas and picking up the phone when they called, and then saying yes, absolutely, let's add these two great programs. It's a monumental step for the SEC. I mean, it's again the depth of football history in the SEC has always been second to none. And now you add Texas and Oklahoma to that. And it just, again, it sets up what will be really compelling entertainment year in and year out. That's hard to find. It's hard to find consistent, reliable entertainment. And that's going to bring in consistent ratings. It's going to bring in consistent, huge revenues to the schools. And again, it's almost to the point now where they have positioned themselves where the SEC really can't fail. Because even if, let's say, Alabama, I don't think this necessarily will happen. Let's say Alabama becomes kind of mediocre post Nick Saban. Okay, well, chances are someone else is going to rise up and take that spot. I mean, Georgia's going to be Georgia. But between Georgia and Alabama and Texas and LSU and Tennessee and Florida and Auburn and go down the list, the math tells you and the history tells you the SEC is always going to have the top quarter of that league are going to be 4 teams that can win the national title.
The Kirby Smart shows up tomorrow. Is he the king?
Without a doubt.
He's the king when he shows up, but he's the king without last year's throne, last year's crown, if you will.
But it almost feels like from a rep standpoint, they didn't win the national title, but it almost feels like so many people believe that they would have won it.
Right.
That even though they don't have it on their resume, they kind of, I still think, have that aura of best team.
100%. And they come in with everybody expecting a hungry team, an angry team. And, oh, by the way, with the best quarterback coming back, in addition to all the great players Kirby has and the great program. So, yeah, I think Georgia walks. I think there won't be the fans because it's not sitting outside. It's not in Birmingham where all the Alabama fans would show up. But I almost think that Kirby walks in tomorrow the way Saban did, the way Spurrier did back in the day, the king. I can tell you all those years going to SEC Media Days, in those 90s, when Spurrier walked in, everything stopped. In fact, he had no peers. He had no peers in the league in those 90s.
Well, and you had to listen to him.
Yeah, that's right.
You didn't know what he was going to say.
Well, he also was entertaining.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when he walked in, every head turned all through the 90s. After that, there wasn't anybody quite as much. Urban never had that because he wasn't there long enough. The teams were great, but it wasn't that. When Saban walked in these last 7, 8, 10 years, every head turned. Every head turned when Saban walked in. Back in the day, every head turned when Spurrier walked in. Yeah, I think Kirby's going to have some. And now Kirby's a more understated personality, but I think some of that will be there. So it's going to be fun. I'll be interested to watch, and I can't wait to watch to see if it plays out that way. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, and Kirby has the off the field, the driving stuff that just simply won't go away. So, I mean, that's going to – mar isn't the right word, but, I mean, he's certainly going to be asked a lot about it, I would imagine. So, that will make it a little different because every conversation that he has, it's got to come up. Every media, availability that he's going to have, it's going to come up. So that is something that, is a distraction. But in terms of the football, I mean, I don't think he's going to get any sort of question other than, boy, you guys look really great.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They look like they're going to win the national title again, which would be 3 and 4 years.
They really do. All right, Matt Hays at the top of the hour. He'll be with us at 5 o'clock talking about first day wrap-up. Kevin Kaplan, the team doctor for the Jaguars, joins us at 5:20 to talk about the Jags getting ready for the season. But right now, you ready for headlines? Are you rusty?
Are we still doing that?
Are you rusty?
Are we still doing headlines?
Yeah.
It's been so.
Yeah.
I guess I'll try and
I want you to put
some.
together some really good ones. Okay.
Yeah. Give me like 90 seconds.
You got it. We'll take a break. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.
The saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, that is actually true if your neighbor installed artificial turf. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned local company that will take your backyard dreams and turn them into a reality. Caleb can design anything from putting greens to pet runs, and if you have a pool, you'll definitely love maintenance-free turf around it. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
At Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it. Best price, we can wiggle it. Best trade value, we can wiggle it. Best payment, we can wiggle it. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. With 8 American brands, we can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or online at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Save money while beautifying your home with Renewal by Andersen with their energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Their exclusive Fibrex product is chic, tough, easy to maintain, and twice as strong as vinyl. Right now, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free, plus 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
EPL Soccer returns. For your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see the Wolves versus West Ham compete for the Stateside Cup July 27th, use the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures and text SOCCER to 641-1010.
Dave and Ammon here with Zero Res. So Ammon, you have worked for Zero Res since you were 9 years old. What makes Zero Res the right choice for cleaning carpets and tile?
I can think of 3 simple reasons. We have the best process, the best people, and our promise to do the best cleaning possible every time.
So, what deals does Zero Res offering for this month?
July is National Carpet Cleaning Month, so for home carpet cleaning, we're offering $49 per room, and for businesses, we're offering 20% off.
Sounds like a great time to get your carpets cleaned. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero
Res.
It's Hacker here, checking in from the sunny Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, that's right. I'm down here living the dream with a margarita in one hand and some seafood in the other. And let me tell you, I'm not stressing one bit about gaining any of my 80 pounds back this week. You know the reason? No, it's Awaken 180 weight loss. My metabolism is on fire. I'm burning off calories as fast as I can put them down. I know the 80 pounds is one measurement, but how about this one? I'm now wearing a size 38 pants. That's down from a 46. 8 inches off my waist. Think about that. 8 inches gone in just 4 months. That's absolutely incredible. That's Awaken 180. My confidence is through the roof. I'm even strutting around the beach down here with the shirt off, feeling like a brand new man. It's all about the Awaken 180 magic. If you're ready to make a change, take it from all of us. Awaken 180 is the real deal. Book your summer consult today at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com. sportswriter.com.
Tired of dealing with clogged drains? What about bad smells coming from your pipes? You need to call Duck Duck Rooter, your plumbing pros in Northeast Florida. Duck Duck Rooter can help with any plumbing issue at your home or business. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hello, sports fans. Hickett here. Let's talk skin. Iron Beach's Dermatology are reminding you to wear your sunscreen. If you're an active parent hanging at the fields, in your boat to fish, or like to chill at the sandbar, wear sunscreen. But if you're the one that decided for years it's not cool, guess what? Cancer isn't cool either. So when grabbing the clubs for your tea time, gassing up the boat, or grabbing the chairs for your kids' games, make sure you bring the screen. Any concerns now? Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
You know, Santa's on the beach this time of year, but the elves at Beard's Diamonds have been busy.
It's Christmas in July at Beard's Diamonds. Everything store-wide is on sale, up to an unbelievable 40% off.
Don't buy anywhere until you shop Beard's Diamonds.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Well, I guess Frank deserves some good headlines. He hasn't heard any in a while.
And listen, I'm grading these, just so you know that.
Right.
There'll be a report. There'll be a performance review at the end, just so you know that. May do it publicly. Just want to say that.
Here we go. Thanks to our friends at Harrell and Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you've been hurt, that's who you need to put your trust into. Frank, let's get into it. So ESPN's been doing this interesting thing. They had a bunch of coaches and executives vote on who are the best players at every position. So it's been a series. They're in their second week of it. And they did quarterbacks today. Trevor Lawrence coming in at 16th in the ESPN rankings. What do you think?
Way low. And now I'm biased and I'm a homer and I'm prejudiced and all that toward Trevor. And I guilty as charged. But you'll never convince me there's 15 quarterbacks in the league that are better. I think the time's going to come when he's a top 5 quarterback. I've said that all along. I don't pretend that's the case today. I don't even know if I'd go top 10 today, but it'd be around the top 10 and nowhere near 16 for me. I hate that I have to go through all of them to see where he landed for me, but I have a hard time thinking 16 feels low to me.
Yeah, another thing that was interesting, so their offensive line rankings came out over the weekend, and I thought this was interesting. So it started with tackles and then interior. So Cam Robinson, there were 26 tackles mentioned. He was not one of the 26 mentioned. They had a top 10, they had an honorable mention, then they had also receiving votes. So a guy that was not mentioned, and again, this is just one list, but it is a bunch of coaches and executives being asked about it. It's making $22 million this year for the Jaguars. So again, that Cam Robinson, what are you getting for that money? They could save $17.5 million by cutting him. They're not going to do that. They're in great cap positioning now, but it's just interesting. And then in the interior offensive line rankings, Brandon Sheriff was in the receiving votes, but he was not in the top 17. So again, that offensive line, we feel better about it, but in terms of top talent, still not a lot of top talent there in the minds of people inside the NFL.
Yeah, and I would say this, in fairness now, that's the one spot on the offense that has to prove itself. I love the receiver room. If Tank Bigsby steps up, I'm going to love that running back room too. You know how I feel about Trevor. I would say the offensive line, I like the way I think they've built it. They've got 2 legit tackles in Cam Robinson and Anton Harrison, and a very good swing tackle, I think, in Walker Little. They've improved their interior by re-upping with Ezra Cleveland, bringing in Mitch Morse. But Hayes, I get it. I get that. I think that's a group that has to play better. Offensive line's different. Offensive line, you kind of have to show me every year because there's not a lot of highlights you can remember. A wide receiver might not have a big year, but I remember that one-handed catch he made and the toe tap in the back of the end zone. Well, offensive linemen don't have that. You don't remember the pancake, right? So offensive line has to prove itself every year. And I think this group, because it struggled last year, has to prove itself. So those numbers, those rankings don't surprise me nearly as much as the quarterback one did.
Jaguars rookies report to training camp this Friday. Frank, which rookie fires you up the most?
Well, that's it. I'm taking the chalk.
Yeah, that's fine.
I hate to take the chalk, but I just think he's going to be Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be so good. So he's one for me. I can't wait to watch him. I will say this. If Jarian Jones is everything they suggest he might be, is a cover corner, is a guy that can play outside or inside. I mean, I will tell you this, and I know you did this too. I spent a lot of time around people of significance with the Jags. And, man, they can't help but grin, man, when they talk about the guy. I mean, do you ever notice that? You ask about this guy and that guy and that guy and this guy. When you get to Jarian Jones, everybody just kind of smiles. That means, A, they think he's really good. B, probably better than they expected. So, to your question for me, Brian Thomas Jr. 1, Jarian Jones 2. I think both will have big impacts as rookies.
Let's get into college football. We talked about SEC football media days earlier in the show, and you and Mia and Matt Hays will be there reporting live tomorrow. LSU went through today. Brian Kelly met with reporters, says this is the deepest team he's had with the Tigers. Are you buying LSU this year?
I am. I think, number one, I think if you have to have transition at quarterback, they're in a very good transition at quarterback spot. One of the things that really helped Georgia last year, even though they didn't get to the playoff, is they had a transition out of a quarterback who had won 2 titles in Stetson Bennett, and they were in a very good transition spot because Carson Beck had waited his turn. I think the same exists with Garrett Nussmeier in LSU. They've got a transition out of a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, but I think they transitioned to a very good one in Garrett Nussmeier who's waited his turn. So, yeah, they always have a lot of good players. I think Brian Kelly's kind of settled into the league. I do buy LSU.
Former Alabama coach Nick Saban, an SEC icon, was at SEC Media Days today as a broadcaster. And, Frank, he had a funny snafu.
Well, it's a little different. I've never won a credential in my life and was always for 17 years able to get into SEC Media Day without a credential. I had to go back to the room today and get my credential to get in. So that's one of the biggest changes I see. It's not like it used to be.
Nick's pretty funny.
He is funny.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
Nick's pretty funny. I mean, you never thought of him as funny guy.
Yeah.
Because he went out of his way for all those
Right.
years to not be funny guy.
Right.
But now that Nick can be funny, Nick can be funny guy.
Yeah, and it was interesting looking and listening to his insights into the league. He picked Georgia and Texas to meet for the SEC title, citing Alabama's concerns in the secondary is why he did not go with his former club. So the best to ever do it thinks it'll be Bulldogs and Longhorns for the SEC title, and I think that is an opinion that will be shared by many in Dallas this week. Frank, the wait is over. EA Sports College Football 25 is out now. Good luck to all of you in your pursuit of the national championship.
Let me say this about, and I'm being serious about this. I'm not a video game guy. You are. You and I've had this talk. You've played them. I haven't. I am astounded at the attention this thing's gotten from player ratings and teams and how excited people are about it.
Stadium ratings.
Oh my God! I mean, and look, and JJ, I don't understand it. I don't pretend to, but my goodness, it's kind of cool.
It's very nostalgic. That's why for us,
No,
Frank.
I get it. But I just, even understanding all the whys to it, I don't think I ever thought it would be to this level. I mean, my goodness, people are. I mean, do you have it yet?
No, I'm afraid to buy it because of how much it might take over my life.
Your relationship.
So
I respect
yes,
that.
I am holding off.
But it's amazing the attention it's gotten. It really is.
It is, and I am looking forward to seeing what people think about it. It debuted at 4:00 today, so the diehards are about 43 minutes into building their dynasties up. Let's get it to golf and the Scottish Open. Robert McIntyre wins, becoming the first Scot in 25 years to capture the event. JJ's got sound for us.
Yes! Great Scott! McIntyre takes his National Open.
Robert McIntyre does it. Unbelievable emotion for Scott since Colin Montgomery to win the Scottish Open. So congratulations to him. We'll see if it carries over. The British Open obviously is this week. To wrap up our Scottish Open report, Justin Thomas, the first round leader, who shot a 62 last Thursday for solo lead after the first day, did not finish in the top 60. Wow. So just still inconsistent golf from a formerly great American player that can hopefully re-find his form, but tough going for Justin Thomas.
And Robert McIntyre winning. Remember, Lee Smith told us before anybody else was talking about it, keep an eye on him. Remember that? Lee Smith, our golf analyst.
Before the players.
Before the players. He said that's a guy to keep an eye on as this season unfolds, and he certainly has been that.
The 152nd British Open carries a record $17 million purse, with the winner receiving $3.1 million. The British Open does, however, remain the lowest purse of the 4 majors. That surprised me.
Yeah. There's it doesn't surprise me because there, as much heritage as it has, there's almost a charm to it not being as much about the dollars as the other ones are. And so it doesn't surprise me. Everything's old school there, and not paying a lot of money is old school too.
Tiger Woods had a practice round Sunday at Royal Troon. Woods was 9th at the 2004 Open Championship at Troon. The 48-year-old Woods has missed the cut or withdrawn in 5 of his last 6 major starts. This will be his final start of the year. He made that declaration about a month ago.
Yeah, and listen, we have this talk every time a major comes around, right? We're all rooting for him. We're all rooting for the story. We're all rooting for something magical to happen. He's such a great player. He's been such a great player, maybe the greatest of all time, and has brought so much joy, Hays, to so many golf fans for so long. But I think we all know at this point the magic's gone. And so I'm glad he's starting. I hope he does great. But I don't think the expectations can be very high, and it is what it is.
Yeah, hard to imagine him doing much this week, but it was good that at least he was out there Sunday,
Agreed.
grinding and trying to figure out the nuances of Royal Troon. So we'll see, but I would agree. I mean, certainly probably no one in the field has less momentum than Tiger Woods in terms of the year that they've had. In Major League Baseball, let's get it to the show. Frank, Paul Skeens, the floor is yours.
I'll tell you this about Paul Skeens. Being there, he should be starting the All-Star game. He is a sub-2 ERA guy. He's 6-0, should be more than that. They haven't had great support for when he pitched. I was telling someone this the other day. In my lifetime, there's been a handful of players that when they're in a game, there's a buzz in the stadium that I've never seen with other players. Ever. Herschel Walker. When Herschel Walker was at Georgia, there was a buzz every time he got the ball. Tim Tebow. When Tim Tebow pulled it out of the belly and kept the ball at Florida, there was a buzz. Michael Jordan, obviously. When Jordan had the ball, there was a buzz. Tiger. Okay? The buzz when Paul Skeens pitched, the buzz in the stadium, home or away, that doesn't mean he's going to be as good as all those guys. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the buzz when he's out there is akin to those 4 I just read off. For me, when I was in the stadium. And baseball needs that in the worst way. So I'm glad he's starting. He's an unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. He threw a no-hitter the other day, and they pulled him out in the 7th inning of a no-hitter.
And it's the second time.
I mean, it's the second one he's had. I've never seen anything like this. I haven't. And it's a joy to watch. In the 4 years I get to have him on my team before he pitches for the Yankees, I enjoy it a bit. I'm glad he's starting the All-Star game. It's the right choice. And if you notice, nobody complained.
Oh, no. I think everybody's excited to watch.
Yeah.
I think the ratings are going to be fantastic for it.
He's probably
because of Paul Skeens.
It's probably going to be 1 inning, but it's going to be a magical inning. No question.
Absolutely. And the Major League Baseball draft, Florida's Jack Caglione goes 6th overall to Kansas City. What you think?
There's not a lot of people blocking him. You know, remember now, Wyatt Langford was drafted 4th overall last year and made the big league team out of spring training, and is pretty good. He's going to be the American League Rookie of the Year.
He almost made the playoff roster last year.
Almost did, and he's pretty good this year. Skeens should have been up to start the season, was up by May 11th. Don't be surprised if Jack is up fast, and there's nobody blocking. There's no power-hitting first baseman in the Royals chain. So I think he went to the right team. I think he's going to be up quick.
Let's get it to the Olympics. Team USA held off Australia in an exhibition 98-92 today in Abu Dhabi. Anthony Davis had 17 points and 14 rebounds in 18 minutes.
You know one thing I've noticed in following this, and I can't wait to watch it when the Olympics gets here, and we all know the day's over when the U.S. is 7 times better than anybody else. I don't know if they're going to win. I mean, it was clunky today. I mean, everybody's got great players now. It's not like the U.S. had great players and everybody else had pretty good players. These NBA guys are great players that are playing all over. So I don't know, Hayes. I don't know that they're going to. I hope they win it like crazy. I can't wait to watch. I don't know that they're going to.
In media, NFL Network announced today they are relaunching Good Morning Football starting July 29th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning, 5 days a week. So that will be intriguing for the fans of Good Morning Football. It's back.
No more Kay Adams, though, right?
No, Kay Adams is off. It's Jamie Erdahl, I think, replaced her as host.
And she did a great job.
And it's the same crew. So it's Kyle Brandt, Peter Schrager.
Yeah.
It's based out of L.A. now.
I was kidding about Kay, but Jamie Erdahl.
She did a great job.
Jamie Erdahl did a very good job. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will get you out on this musical note. Happy birthday to singer Linda Ronstadt, who turned 78 today. The Tucson, Arizona native charted 10 songs that climbed into the Billboard Top 10. This was her lone #1 song on the charts, You're No Good, released in 1974.
She's a great act in the 70s. Probably what she did best, and she was a great act, is she had a backup band. And her backup band had guys named Glenn Fry and Don Henley in it.
Yeah.
She launched the Eagles. People don't know that.
Yeah.
But they were the backup band for Linda Ronstadt. And that's how the Eagles became about. But the great Linda Ronstadt. A great choice and a great song and a great act in the 70s. We appreciate it. We'll take a break. When we come back, Matt Hays jumps in. He is already in Dallas at the SEC Media Days. His report's next, so stay with us.
I broke a heart that's gentle and true. Well, I broke a heart over someone like you.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
On campus.
7 years of college down the drain.
On the inside and on XL Primetime.
What's the deal with the show?
Bleacher Report college football insider Matt Hays.
How do you like being in a real studio?
2 to 4 weekdays on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Folks, this summer, happiness is a new Chevy. That's right, a new Chevy Silverado from Nimnick Chevrolet. Get this. This month, you can save up to $8,500 off a new Silverado. Or, well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 model. And that's with the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee. Your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $2,250 in trade assistance. Want an even better deal? Well, ask about demo model for even deeper discounts. You can shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership conveniently located at the corner of Park and Cabot. This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. So head to Nimnick Chevrolet today. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Hey, it's Matt Hays, and summer's here on the First Coast. You know, long days, short sleeves, and soaring temperatures that can do a number on your AC. Look, if you've heard me say it once, you've heard it 1,000 times. Hope is not a plan. So do what I did and plan ahead with expert AC tune-ups from Fenwick Home Services to avoid those costly summer breakdowns. Fenwick has you covered with same-day service, including maintenance plans, free same-day estimates, and guaranteed repairs. Book your expert tune-up today and avoid costly breakdowns tomorrow. Plan ahead instead of hoping for the best. Online at FenwickHomeservices.com. That's FenwickHomeservices.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Is your roof ready to weather the storm? Don't take chances with your home safety. Schedule a free roof inspection with the experts at Universal Roof and Contracting. Get peace of mind knowing your home is protected from the elements. Save up to $1,250 on your roof replacement, plus flexible financing up to 15 years. Offer expires July 31st. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or click universalroof.com.
License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
For over 40 years, Play It Again Sports has served its customers with a winning, sustainable shopping model. Could say, we were recycling before recycling was cool. Save on quality used sporting goods for baseball, softball, lacrosse, hockey, golf, tennis, and more. Or sell us your gently used gear. We buy all sports, all seasons, and offer cash on the spot. Stop by Play It Again Sports today on Merrill Road near 295 or online at playitagainsports.com.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. As college football season inches closer, fans will be getting their first glimpse of that season at the SEC Media Days this week. The Florida Gators will be represented by head coach Billy Napier, alongside Graham Mertz, Shamar James, and Montrell Johnson. The Georgia Bulldogs will send out Coach Kirby Smart, Carson Beck, Malachi Starks, and Michael Williams. Tune in to 1010XL all week long as we will be recapping the biggest news from Dallas to get you ready for the upcoming season. The A-Sun has released in-conference schedules for the 2024-2025 men's basketball season, which means official dates for the River City Rumble. The series will kick off February 1st at JU, with the rivalry finishing up at the Nest at UNF on February 20th. It's 90 degrees at 4:57. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
We appreciate our friends from the Best Bet. Christmas in July continues this week. Best Bet Jacksonville. Hourly high hands increasing daily from $1,500 to $1,900. You want to head out there and have fun at the Best Bet Christmas in July. Let's head to Dallas now. Joining us on the Garber Auto Mall phone line, my buddy Matt Hays. I'll be with Matt tomorrow. Matty, how are you, bud?
I'm great. How y'all doing?
We are doing fine. I can't wait to get out there tomorrow. 5:38 is my flight tomorrow morning, Matt. Are you picking me up at the airport or no? Have you decided that? You gonna?
You're gonna take probably the same cab I took to get here.
Oh, Matt. With Matt, Mia, and I will have all your coverage. Well, our shows will all be live starting tomorrow, so we look forward to that. Matt, a quick overview. You know Greg Sankey really well. You saw him today on the dais. What were your main takeaways from what he had? Because I got a lot of thoughts on this, but what were your main takeaways from what he had to say?
There's just a lot of uncertainty in college football right now. You know, we're going to talk to Greg live Wednesday during the 2:00 hour of XLP, you and I. And I just think he's trying to be this guy that is steering this big ship through waters that are very difficult. And he's also doing it as kind of the quasi guy leading the NCAA as well, because the NCAA is no longer. It's just literally a group in name right now. And there's a lot that has to get done. He talked about how they're literally playing on 5 different fields, including the football field, the court system, dealing with Congress, dealing with local state laws, dealing with university presidents. There's a lot of stuff going on that they're trying to push this sport through with, the advent of pay-for-play that's coming very soon, probably by next season, and just the way they deal with NIL. There's a lot going on, and, of course, expansion. And he made it very clear that they're at 16. They're very happy with 16, and they can go a long way in the future and be very successful at 16. But, I mean, I talked about this last week on XLP, and I've been saying it for about 2 weeks now, that I think the only way they expand, the only way the Big Ten expands is if the ACC completely implodes. And by completely, I mean like 4, 5, 6 teams say we're out. If just Florida State says we're leaving, or just Florida State and Clemson say they're leaving, I'm not sure where either one of those teams are going, to be honest with you, because they're not going to the SEC, and I don't think they're going to the Big Ten either. There's a lot of uncertainty right now around specifically FSU and not so much Clemson, but it doesn't mean like if one goes, the other does go, and everything blows up. I think there's a lot to move forward to this, and honestly, I put it this way. I heard today, Frank, from one industry source, not here, just someone I spoke to on the phone, who said, he believes that Florida State played their hand poorly. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Matt, I've seen you tweet this out, and if you could expand on it for us, that'd be great. Do you think there is a chance that the ACC basically allows FSU, I say allow, but basically rallies around the other members and says, okay, we're going to lose Florida State, and there's nothing we can do about that. But what can we do to stay together without them? And would that be a powerful message for Clemson, North Carolina, Virginia, and others that might be thinking about leaving?
So, Hays, I don't know all the minute details about the TV deal. We also know that ESPN has a look, and I believe it's in 27 where they can get out of it if they want. But if I'm Jim Phillips and my conference is literally on the cliff, which they are right now, I would 100% do this. And I've had, again, industry sources telling me that this is an option. Is you say, okay, Florida State, go, but you got to pay us $150 million exit fee. And then you go to Clemson, Miami, Virginia, and North Carolina, and you say, look, we realize you guys are schools that could be picked up by the Big Ten and the SEC if you all left. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that $150 million, and every year take the $40 million that would go to Florida State, and you guys are going to split that evenly. And it's not going to make you whole. It's not going to make North Carolina earn the $80 million that they'd earn in the SEC or the Big Ten. But it's going to bring them to close to 60, and they're also going to still have the revenue sharing, whereas if you win a championship, you earn more than the other teams. If you get to the playoff, you're going to earn more than other teams. You're also going to have the brand new expanded playoff where you have much more money that you can earn. So I think what the ACC can do is at the very least make it enticing for these teams. Look, you're not going to make 80, but if you have an elite program, you could make 60, 65, maybe even 70 with a great season. Is it worth it for you to all of a sudden start traveling to Big Ten locales to be a member of the Big Ten? Is an extra $10 million a year really worth it to you? It's certainly an option for the ACC, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. There's a lot going on right now, and Clemson is knee-deep in the legal stuff as well as FSU is. So Clemson would also have to back up. But Clemson hasn't been as destructive, I would say, as Florida State.
Matt, let's get to things that in the SEC you saw today. What stood out? Brian Kelly spoke today, Lane Kiffin, and a really heartfelt goodbye to his dad, Monty Kiffin. I thought he did a wonderful job there. What all stood out to you in day one of the media days?
Yeah, Lane is different, Frank, and I've been talking about this for a year, and I truly believe that he's a more measured guy now. He still makes fun on Twitter. He made a great point today too. He said, most people on Twitter are really not themselves. He said, so it kind of gives me the ability to be like a fan. He said, I know it sounds weird, but I can be a fan on Twitter. And he's talking. He's excited about his team. He's talked about how they now finally have the size and the length and the athleticism that Georgia and Alabama have on the interior lines. And he feels like they can compete at that level. And Nick Saban's around here walking around saying he believes Ole Miss can compete at that level as well. He's got a terrific quarterback. He's got the best wide receiving core in the country. So they're going to score points. If that defense can be what he hopes it can be, I mean, I see him as a playoff team.
What about LSU?
What's funny is Brian Kelly's walking around here saying he does not expect a drop-off on the offense. And I mean, honestly, guys, if you look at Jaden Daniels' season last year, you look in the last 25, 30 years, maybe two people had better seasons as far as individually the impact on the numbers they put up. And he says he does not expect a drop-off at offense, despite the loss of Jaden Daniels, despite the loss of, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. He feels like they're set to explode on offense again with Nussmeier, and he really loves Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator they got from Missouri. Feels like they're smarter on defense. They're more prepared on defense. He's excited about the season. He's a guy. Look, in his third season, everywhere he's been, Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, the third season is the jump out season. His third season at Notre Dame, they played in the national championship game against Alabama. They played in the Orange Bowl in his third season at Cincinnati. So I think they're primed. They've won 10 games the last 2 years. Now is the time to make the next step, get to the playoff, and see how far you can get in it.
Matt, tomorrow, and I'll be there with you and Mia, I think 4 ranked teams, Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Missouri. That might be the biggest day, right? What are expectations there? Everyone thinks Georgia's going to win the whole thing. What are people going to expect from Tennessee, in your opinion?
Frank, I look at those 4 teams. Those are 4 legit playoff contenders, all 4 of them.
Right.
I don't think there's any question. I think the question, obviously, with Oklahoma and Tennessee are the young quarterbacks. But you're talking about Jackson Arnold, Oklahoma, and Nico Iamaleava, if that's how he's saying his last name of late. I believe that's how it is. He's changed it a few times. 2 just uber-talented quarterbacks who, if they play at a high level, each of those schools could win 10 games and get in the playoffs. Yeah, it's far and away the best day. It's going to be interesting to see. I think Kirby, to see if Kirby kind of takes the mantle of Nick, where Nick would walk to the podium with these things in the past and just he would lay out his vision of what he thinks is right and what he thinks is wrong. It's back to like in the old days with Spurrier, but I think this is time for Kirby to grab that mantle, whether he likes it or not. He's now the guy in the SEC. We'll see if he does it.
Give us an early thought about the Gators. What do you think Billy Napier tries to get across when he meets with reporters?
I think he's going to talk about how they're better. The roster's better. I think he's going to talk about how they have better chemistry. I think he's going to talk about how it's a process to build. And I think he's exactly right on all accounts. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything unless you win games. I mean, if they're at the point where they're in November and they've got 4 wins, that's going to be a problem. And he knows that. I mean, he's not a fool. So it's just a matter of how well can the quarterback play. And Graham Mertz, who played a lot better than anyone could have imagined he would play last year, does he take the next step? And they believe he's going to play really, really well this year. And, can they protect him? Can they run the ball? How much better will they be on defense? We've heard a lot about Ron Roberts and his impact there on the defense. You guys know, you've watched it, man. They got to tackle better. They got to take better angles. They got to be in position. All basic, fundamental things that they had no clue about last year. Literally a historically bad defense. And we've been saying that it feels like every year for the last 3. So at some point, it's got to stop.
Matt, does it feel different in Dallas with Texas and Oklahoma there? I know they haven't.
A little bit.
Been, how does it feel? Because I can't wait. Like you, I've done 36 of these now, so I'm interested to see how this one's going to feel. How does it feel?
It's bigger, Frank. It's Texas. It's Big D.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of people here. There's not much. Believe it or not many more people. I think it's just different because of Texas and Oklahoma. And I think people are interested to hear Oklahoma, and then obviously this following day, Texas. You're really interested to see who and what they are and what they're about. It won't be as much for Sark because people in the SEC know Sark. It'll be different for Venables and Oklahoma. And it's, I've been saying this for a while now. It's funny how Texas has become, the standard bearer because it's the name and the brand. But Oklahoma's beaten the hell out of Texas for the last 3 decades,
Right.
And that's been kind of lost in this whole thing. Like Oklahoma's like this add-in because Texas is coming. And Oklahoma is a legit program, a legit blue blood program. That given time and given the right moves by Brett Venables could win the SEC. I mean, they won 10 games last year in his second year, and he's recruiting at a very high level.
Matt, in terms of Oklahoma and Texas, where do you think, what's a fair expectation for them as they enter into the SEC?
Playoff for both of them, honestly. They're both that talented. They both have the ability at quarterback to have a difference maker at the position. Let's put it that way. That's probably the best way to say it. I mean, we've seen Quinn Ewers play. Jackson Arnold struggled in that bowl game at Arizona, but that's his first start. A bowl game where they had a lot of guys that weren't playing, and it's different. Bowl games are different, especially if they don't mean anything, which that bowl clearly did not, and it meant a ton for Arizona. And kudos to Jed Fish to get that team ready to play really well. I think playoff for both teams, because of the talent they have, because of the expectations at those schools, and because they've made this move now. I mean, you can say what you want, but Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC, it was the beginning of this craziness, the realignment, everything in college football. So I also think it was, and you can easily trace this back. It was also the beginning of, okay, you have to start paying players now. But you can't have these huge conferences where you're making billions in TV money and not pay players, not allow them to have the name, image, and likeness. So the reality is their move has just been a chain reaction for the entire sport.
Matt Hays checking in. You'll hear him tomorrow throughout the day on XL Prime Time. He's there representing his show, and we'll all be there together. Mia O'Brien, Matt Hays, and I will bring you as much coverage as we can. We're excited about it. Day 1 was today. Matt's had it covered for you. Tomorrow we'll all be there, and we've got Georgia and Tennessee all there tomorrow, Oklahoma as well. The Florida Gators come by on Wednesday. You'll hear from Billy Napier and his players as well, all coming up in a bit. So we're excited about the SEC Media Days this year in Dallas. Matt Hays checking in live. Matt, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Okay, fellas.
All right, Matt Hays checking in. I'll be with Matt and Mia. And, again, that starts tomorrow in Dallas. Back in a moment. When we come back, Kevin Kaplan stops by. He's the Jaguars team physician. He's going to tell us all about the offseason. What do you do to keep players healthy in the offseason? What kind of nutritional plans? And how does the team look going into practice, which is next week? That's next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Gators. Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Up-to-the-minute updates, instant reaction from Gainesville, plus the same 1010XL Gators podcast you've grown to know. And check out 1010XL Gators on YouTube.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new Walk-Off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960. be.
It's time to fire up your grill, shoot off some fireworks, and launch one of the biggest sales in the history of the United States. It's our independent sale happening right now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. Whether you drive a car, a truck, or an EV, everyone is welcome to celebrate our independent sale with the lowest prices, largest inventory, and the most love for our country. Come celebrate with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. You don't want to miss this.
Nick in here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of About 9. Visit About 9 Associates today and experience the difference. About 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are mosquitoes turning your outdoor fun into a full contact sport? It's time to call in Kingfish Pest Control. I can tell you from my own experience, they are the MVPs of mosquito elimination. Call Kingfish Pest Control today and get an unbeatable 50% off your first treatment. That's right, sign up for a full season of lockdown coverage and get 50% off your first treatment. Don't let mosquitoes steal your home field advantage. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Anytime you've got major plumbing problems, and even the minor ones, there's several potential causes, and they usually can't be easily detected. So don't guess at a solution. Hire Roland Reese Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
Fish are good at hiding. Captain Kevin can help you find them.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Thursday nights at 6.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss on 1010XL AM.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey, Matt Hays here with Mike Dempsey, both continuing to reap the benefits of losing weight with Awaken 180. For me, it starts with sleep. That's right, a full night's sleep every night. Another thing, I haven't been sick in months. No colds, no sinus infections. Mike?
Same thing here. My added bonus is I've lost a few more pounds in free maintenance. Crazy to think the weight not only stayed off since last September, but I don't even think about it anymore. With Awaken 180, keeping it off becomes second nature. I've had my cheat days, I have my cheat meals, but it's not really cheating when the results stay the same.
Awaken 180 isn't just about losing weight. It's about enhancing your life, better sleep, better health, and for me, enjoying golf and swimming without joint pain.
When you're not carrying around 40 extra pounds, your joints surely thank you. Have your joints, your heart, and your scale thanking you too, and do what we did online at Awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Look, we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. I love the live casino. The roulette is awesome. It's so easy and so much fun. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. So sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
What's changed totally inside and out? The Kuhn Flowers massive storefront, and yes, they've totally remodeled the showroom inside too. This is Frank Frangie, and the next time you drive by, stop and smell the roses at Kuhn Flowers.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Man, we appreciate our friends from the Best Bet. Keep earning those entries into a 6-seater electric golf cart with every hour of poker played at Best Bet St. Aug now. That's through July 26th. The golf cart and the cash giveaways are July 27th. So, man, oh, man, you want to win that terrific electric golf cart, the 6-seater, well, then head down to Best Bet St. Augustine. 3 locations, St. Augustine, Jacksonville, and Orange Park. Kevin Kaplan right around the corner. Talk some Jaguars football. In the meantime, let's do a little baseball. Jay, you got some giveaways in there, do you?
I do. I have a pair of voucher tickets to the Jumbo Shrimp at 121 Financial Ballpark. So that's any home game for the rest of the season. I have a pair of tickets right now. 641-1010.
641-1010. First caller, JJ?
Let's do it.
Number 1. First person to get in, you're headed to see the Jumbo Shrimp. Hey, speaking of baseball, by the way, as we wait for Cap, great time to be so many of the local players got drafted and are hearing about their names, and I could go through all of them. I won't go through every name. But I'm going to go through one, Hayes. My buddy Tom Bauman, one of my best friends in the world, his son Tanner Bauman, who's a terrific pitcher, went in the 9th round, which is pretty good, to the New York Yankees. You've heard of them, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Tanner drafted out of Auburn. He's a left-hander who's really good, and he's one of the neatest kids you'll ever meet. He's a great kid. And
congratulations.
He was our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Year 1 year out of Atlantic Coast High School, and he's a 6'4" left-hander. He's a really good pitcher. And so he's taken in the 9th round by the New York Yankees. So congrats to Tanner. And he's I've said this since he was sophomore. He's going to pitch in the big leagues one day. We're going to say, hey, look, he's in the big league. I've been saying that since he was in the 9th grade. So he's a great kid too. So Tanner Bauman on his way to the New York Yankees as a 9th round draft pick out of Auburn, and really happy for him. So a very, very deserving kid. And again, there's a lot. By the way, there's so many local kids taken in this baseball draft. It's 20 rounds now. It started yesterday afternoon, and Jack Caglione went 6. We talked about that. There's a lot of guys. We talked about it in the headlines. If I start naming all the local guys, I'll miss some, so I don't want to do that. But I'm going to name one that I've known since he was born. So, and that is Tanner Bauman. So congratulations to Tanner. Jaguar football right around the corner. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they are. I think people are excited. I think there's a sense. I talked about the trajectory, and we'll talk more, Hayes, by Monday about storylines. We're a day or two away. But as we wait for Cap, who'll be by any moment now, what do you see as the biggest storylines? Biggest.
I think the biggest overall will be at the outset, like, does Doug Peterson give us a definitive answer on play calling when he first meets to start training camp? So that'll be an early storyline. We'll see what how much Doug's willing to reveal on that. And then once you get out onto the field, I think it's Jarian Jones versus Ronald Darby is the hottest battle. Now, again, it may take some time for us to get to that because the first few days of camp, they may want to really specialize Jarian's role. So you may not see him outside. I mean, there's a chance you may not see him outside at all, but that would be disappointing to me. But I think he'll get reps at nickel, but my hope is that expands to where he can compete with Ronald Darby for the spot opposite Tyson Campbell. So that's one that I think is going to be very interesting. And looking at that linebacker position with Chad Muma and Ventrell Miller, we assume that the two of them are fighting for a starting job. So I think that becomes very interesting. And then really, other than that, it just becomes Trevor and his chemistry with the new additions. Other than Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, it's a new room with Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. So what kind of chemistry is there on that side of the ball? I think it's a good place going into camp because I don't think there's a lot of positions that are unsettled. So, what they elect to do with Walker Little will be interesting. How, where does he see his snaps and his time? But for the most part, the foundation is in place. And I think the biggest concerns or question marks are things that, are not overly critical to the team's success. So, I think they're in a good place, but there will be a couple of things that we've got to get figured out over the course of 4 weeks.
I will tell you this. To me, look, there's a bunch of position battles. I say a bunch. There's cornerback. There's nickel. If Darnell Savage isn't the guy, there's center, at least for today, is a position battle. There's some position battles there. There always are, and those are fun to watch. I think the biggest storyline for me, I say storyline, position that I will watch or thing that I will watch, Hays, is do they improve the lines of scrimmage? That, to me, is the big thing. My biggest question mark on the offense is the offensive line. They weren't very good in the line of scrimmage, and their inability to get a yard really was the defining element of their season, including the end of the year when they couldn't get a yard, when Trevor tried to jump over the top and change the play, and they couldn't block anybody. So I think that for me are the two lines better. Without Devon Hamilton, the middle of the defensive line was not what it had been. Despite what good years that Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker had as pass rushers, in the middle of the line, they weren't what they had been the year before. And same with the middle of the offensive line. So I think if they can compete physically in those two areas, if they are physical enough to compete in those two areas, then I think then they have a chance to be a competitive team. So I almost think that it's not a sexy storyline. The sexy storyline is how many times does Brian Thomas Jr. Or Gabe Davis get deep. That's what we want to watch in practice. That's what's going to get the oohs and the ahs from the training camp crowd. But I think how much better they are at the line of scrimmage is a gigantic story for me.
Yeah, those one-on-ones are going to be a lot of fun when we get to that point at camp when the pads are on and they decide it's time for us to ramp things up. Yeah, I'm excited to see what Mitch Morse looks like and Eric Armstead, and hopefully Armstead will be 100%. That was Doug's expectation closing the offseason program because obviously they limited him a lot in OTAs. So, but yeah, to see what kind of impact those two guys can have, how they hold up, and then just seeing the development. They've got so many young guys on this roster that have yet to really do much, but which of those guys have excellent camps? Brenton Strange, Tank Bigsby, Tyler Lacey, Antonio Johnson. As you go, Parker Washington is somebody that received a lot of praise in May. Of those guys that showed that they might be ready to take a step, who actually does when you get into training camp, the pads are on, you have the joint practice, you have the preseason games in those reps, who steps forward? Because this roster's in a really good place in terms of young guys on rookie contracts. They're not all going to step up, but if some of them do, it's going to drastically affect the football team in a positive way.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see. All right, let's bring in our buddy Kevin Kaplan here. I tell you what, let's do this. We're coming right up on a break. You in a hurry? You got time? He just said he did 12 surgeries today, 8 Achilles, a couple ACLs. He did all that. So let's take a break. We come back. Kevin's going to join us to talk all about the Jaguars and their health situation. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The first half of the Major League Baseball season is in the books, and the Los Angeles Dodgers remaining the betting favorite to win this year's World Series in October. The Dodgers are plus 360. The Philadelphia Phillies are plus 420. The best bet out of the American League, the New York Yankees at plus 550. While the Baltimore Orioles, who lead the AL East, are plus 700. The Atlanta Braves are plus 900 to win this year's World Series, while both the Minnesota Twins and the Cleveland Guardians in the AL Central are both plus 1,800. The Seattle Mariners are plus 2,000. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are looking for top talent to join our team. If you are a plumber, CDL driver, or have experience installing septic drain fields, come join Duck Duck Rooter and let's win together. We offer our players a full package that includes excellent weekly pay, paid holidays, health insurance, and new state-of-the-art equipment. Log on to DuckDuckRooter.com and click on the careers page to apply. That's DuckDuckRooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter is an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle. Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
This July, celebrate America's independence with a fresh view from Renewal by Andersen. Hi, this is Chelsea. Right now, buy any 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. Plus, enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. Our custom-built, energy-efficient windows and doors will enhance the beauty and value of your home. Visit rbafla.com to schedule your complimentary design consultation. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Attention sports fans, are you ready to take your game to the next level? Look no further than Best Bet. You can bet anywhere, but you'll definitely win here. Experience the thrill of sports like never before. With all the major games broadcasting live on our big screens and a menu stacked with your favorite foods and refreshing drinks, you're sure to find your winning ticket. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com. Bet anywhere, win here. Only at Best Bet.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
A meal and sparkling conversation.
Helmets and heels.
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Just behave, okay?
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
You could win your share of over $450,000 in cash and prizes at the 5-star Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. The fun starts July 13th with the inaugural kickoff beach tournament with a $50,000 cash first prize. There's a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the general offshore tournament winner takes home a 28T contender with twin 200 Yamahas. Register today at kingfishtournament.com.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com, WM.com, and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's The Mangler. Go Team WM, and as always, Duval!
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
We thank our friends from Best Bet, Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva with you. My pal Kevin Kaplan is here, the team doctor for the Jaguars. How are you, man?
I'm great. I'm ready to go. Excited.
Having a good summer?
I am.
You ready for it to be over and football to be here?
You get that time of year right now where you're just itching for it. You're ready for it, relax and get some time with the family and ready to go.
Well, what kind of an off season has it been? I would have usually it's a healthy team to start the season. Are they in good shape?
I think so. I mean, we fortunately enough, a lot of the injuries were things that could heal in the off season, and I think the guys have, the ones that needed to rehab have rehabbed, and you always worry in the off season that you're going to see some things pop up, and that can always happen. We see it around the league all the time, and even guys from other teams, like I was talking to you before, I did a surgery on someone from another team that happened, unfortunately. Yeah. But fortunate for us, I think we're going into the season pretty healthy.
What's the relationship like with you with a new free agent? Like, Armstead, Morse, Gabe Davis, they've been in the league. They had a relationship, obviously, with that team's medical person. What's it like establishing that rapport with a free agent that's been in the league for a long time?
Yeah, I think we do a really good job. First, you got to feel out what was their relationship, because honestly, not all relationships were good relationships. And sometimes guys don't either like the way that they're presenting information or don't get all the information. So, Jeff Ferguson, you guys know, and myself, we sit down and we talk to the player and kind of go through how we do things medically. And I think for us, it's building that rapport, the trust that we're going to tell them the right information. We're going to, if they, God forbid, have an injury, that we explain that injury. And when guys come in and sit down and go over an MRI, I want them to look at the MRI with me. I want them to understand what it is that's injured, and I want them to be able to go out and explain it to whether it's a coach or another teammate or a family member or their agent who we speak with, what it is that was injured. Because in the league, a lot of times it's not just a black and white injury, and a lot of those injuries fall in the gray zone. And if someone, God forbid, tears an ACL, that's season ending. But a lot of the injuries, whether it's high ankle sprains or AC joints, these are somewhat playable or could be playable injuries. We just got to kind of figure out together, how do they feel? Can they perform? Can they do their job? Are they going to hurt themselves? Are they going to hurt the team? So it really should be, with those gray zone injuries, a collaborative effort.
And they have these 6 weeks. Obviously, that's a strength coach and that's a nutritionist, and I get that, a trainer. But obviously, you want to keep them healthy too, so you don't have to do the surgery. Are there exit interviews? Are there things you ask them to do before we see you in 6 weeks? Are you involved in that process?
I mean, Ferg does most of that, in terms of looking at the guys, and they always, go through things that they should be doing, and getting me involved would be if there was an injury at that point.
I thought about it. You're there to fix it if it happens.
Right.
But obviously, you guys are all in it together.
And Ferg and I, I always joke around, and Ferg and I talk almost as much as I talk to my wife. We just are always on the phone talking about guys, talking about injuries. what are we looking for in this guy that has had this knee problem in the past, et cetera? What are we, we're planning for the future. If someone has a little bit of wear and tear in their knee, are we going to do a PRP injection? Are we do a gel injection? What types of things are we doing now when they leave and right when they come back before training camp starts?
Are there physicals the minute they get back? I mean, do you
we kind of do an update. So we've done the regular physicals for the season already before we start that program, like OTAs.
You do? So,
yeah,
so
we
the
do that.
physical for the season is before the OTA?
Correct.
Oh, wow.
It's before we do anything in the building for the new year.
Okay.
And they come back and we do a little kind of update, has anything changed type of thing, but we don't have to do a whole entrance physical on them when they come back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Trevor was very public about the ailments he had to play through last year. I think he told us at the opening of OTAs that he really wasn't fully healthy until maybe March. He started to feel 100% on everything that he wanted to do. From your perspective, how difficult was that final 6-week stretch for Trevor physically?
It's just it's tough watching, the leader, the quarterback going through all those injuries that he had to deal with. When we look at the injury report and he's on there, however many different times he was on there during the season, knowing that he's trying to play, he wants to play, he wants to be there for the team. And, then we got to take a step back as a medical staff and say, like I said, the same thing. Is it safe for him to play? Is he going to hurt himself? Is he going to hurt the team? But he had a lot of fight and wanted to be there, wanted to play, and even the game that we wanted him not to play, he still wanted to play. So, I think it's tough seeing your quarterback have to go through all of that, and especially when it involves throwing and planting and running, all of the stuff that he needs to do. It was pretty difficult to watch him go through that, but he's a fighter and he definitely wanted to gut through it.
Healthy now, and same question about Christian Kirk, who I've said this many times. Jags were 8-3 and driving for a first possession touchdown against Cincinnati when Christian Kirk went down, and I thought everything changed after that. I'm not saying one guy caused all of it. Not having one guy caused all of it, but I thought that had a lot to do with it. How healthy is he? Is he in good shape, or Trevor in good shape overall?
Yeah, he was trying to get back for that last game, and he
almost did.
Right. He was pushing. For that surgery and to turn around, he really wanted it and was trying to push to put him in and get him in there. And so, now he's had plenty of time, and we all know that sports hernia, that core muscle surgery, is a very successful procedure. And so, he was trying to get back as quick as possible and not have to wait for the whole offseason. But, obviously ready to roll.
And I've also been told that Devon Hamilton's back to full health. And I know that was a scary thing, and that was Devon's news to share, and he finally did. But he looks great, doesn't he?
He does. And I'm very excited for him. That was a tough thing to go through, and especially because there was so much kind of mystery before he kind of put it out there what it was and what happened. And so for him to get back out there and get back to his normal self and on the football field, there's certain players you watch and go through things, and you just, I'm very excited for him to get back on the field at full strength.
Were there young players from a conditioning standpoint that when you saw them again, you were impressed with the strides that they had made?
Yeah, I think, guys coming into the league, they're not, there's a certain level in college, and then when they get to the pros, it's to that next step. And so, I think, I've seen some of it during the OTAs, but I haven't been out there as much as I'm going to be during training camp. But I'm certainly looking forward to the wide receivers and looking forward to the guys on the defensive line, the rookies that we talked about that are coming in, and to see how they kind of take the next step during training camp.
What worries you about training camp? Heat? Anything? Guys haven't been out there for a while. What's a team doctor's biggest concern?
Soft tissue, right? And I think around the league, we've done a really good job. Instead of just hitting the ground running from the day we start training camp, now there's a kind of an acclimation period where the guys don't go, from the jump right into things.
Right.
And that's cut way down on our soft tissue injuries because, soft tissue.
Tell people, give me some examples.
Hamstring strains, calf strains, quad strains. Those are the 1, 2, and 3 things that you hate to see, especially in guys that we were just talking about in rookies, because the valuable time during training camp that they miss because they are on the sideline or in the training room because of a hamstring strain or a quad strain, it's just you can't replace that. So by lowering those, I think our team gets better. And so those are the things that, in the back of my mind, I worry about the most. And we have to deal with the heat. I was just talking to an athletic trainer from another team, and they're traveling off to somewhere else that's not as hot because of the fact that they have to deal with so many problems. And so, I think we do a good job, and Doug does a great job in terms of making sure that we avoid those type of soft tissue injuries.
Do you buy into, and when it comes to an ACL tear, it being 2 years after? We talked, you talk about it with running backs. Mason Smith, second-round rookie here, has a really incredible freshman season, tears the ACL early in his sophomore season, and then started to kind of show flashes late in the year in his third collegiate season, and he's in the draft. Could the Jaguars be getting a different kind of Mason Smith than maybe what the draft analysts were looking at over the last 2 years?
I think it's an excellent point. And I think if you talk to any player that has an ACL injury and an ACL tear when they come back, that first year back is the most difficult year, whether it's a little bit physical, a little bit psychological. There's a lot that goes into, and you talk to any athlete, any level, whether it's just a weekend warrior, collegiate, high school, professional athlete, ACL injuries are difficult. And so, yeah, I would certainly agree with that. And I think in the history of the guys that we've seen, even on our team that I've done ACL reconstructions on, it just takes a little bit of time to kind of get that game speed, psychological, back at it without thinking about the knee. So I'm excited for him specifically.
Are there things players can do to avoid injuries? Are there things, whether it's conditioning, whether it's working on technique? I mean, obviously you work on technique to be a better player. But can you also work on technique to protect yourself? Is that a thing?
I mean, there's certain things you can do, but there's certain unavoidable things. The unpredictability of how you're going to get hit or who's going to hit you high when you're torquing on your leg low. But there are definitely things that we do with our sports science athletic trainers and all the people in our building to try to build the specific muscles to protect against injury. There's no fail-safe. I mean, you're going to have injuries.
It's football.
It's football. But there's certain things you can control. And to your point, flexibility, strength, ability to change direction and training those different muscle groups. I think that you can avoid some, but certainly not all injuries.
I want to ask you a baseball question while we have you here. There was a story about a month ago on ESPN that suggested that the data now that we have over about a decade suggests that managing the pitcher has not cut down on Tommy John. What's the data, anything you can share with us in terms of managing pitchers? We saw Paul Skeens get pulled from a game as he's throwing a no-hitter. What's sort of your perspective on the managing of the pitchers?
Yeah, I think that, again, it's, trying to manage the number of pitches is important. But as we know, that ligament is so small, and the amount of torque they put on it every pitch, any one of those pitches can cause microtrauma to that ligament. So whether it's 10 fastballs or 100 fastballs, certainly if you're decreasing the number, maybe you'll decrease the number of Tommy Johns, but you're still putting the elbow in an abnormal position, an abnormal motion, and an abnormal velocity that can certainly injure that ligament over time. So, I still think it's important, but we've seen the number of Tommy Johns just continually rise despite, trying to manage these things. And even in our young athletes, trying to manage how many they throw during their lifetime. They're playing high school ball, travel ball, club ball, and it's too much.
Yeah, and I've said this to you because you and I are really good friends. We talk a lot. I've said it to your colleague, Lance Snyder, who certainly specializes in that. And I've said it many times. There's and I love baseball. You know me, Kevin.
No,
I'm
of course.
a diehard baseball guy. But there's something wrong with our sport if every time a pitcher throws hard, you expect him to have that major injury.
Right.
There's something wrong. We're doing something. Look, running backs tear their ACLs, but you don't expect it. It just happens. Pitchers, I expect between Skeens and Jared Jones, one of them to have Tommy John this year. So we're doing something wrong.
Yeah, or it's just, how can you can't really change the motion.
No, you're right.
On the ligament, right?
And I saw a pitcher quoted the other day said, listen, we know it's dangerous, but we also know if we don't achieve this velo, we're not going to get a paycheck.
Right.
And I'm willing to risk my elbow or my UCL because if it doesn't blow, I'm going to make $10 million. Right. So that's the risk.
Risk reward.
Yeah, it really is. So it's interesting stuff. All right, Kevin Kaplan, team doctor for the Jaguars. I'm ready. You're ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Are you in good shape? Are you ready?
I'm in good.
You expect to have a good year.
I've been training. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm going to stay injury free myself.
If Cap has a good year, then we have. Listen, if Trevor, Kirk, and Cap have good years,
perfect.
I think we have a good chance. Cap, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Kevin Kaplan, the team doctor for the Jacksonville Jaguars. JJ, let's cool it down.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, our cool down today. Where have we been? Well, we just heard from Dr. Kevin Kaplan, one of the all-time good guys and one of the truly respected team doctors. Not just because he's one of the 32, but he's one of the best of the 32, and he's widely regarded as such the Jaguars team. Dr. Gray catching up with him. Matt Hays checked in from Dallas from the SEC Media Days. I'll be there tomorrow through Thursday along with Matt and Mia, and we'll be doing all our live shows from there. So we're certainly looking forward to that. That comes up a little bit later on. We talked a little bit about the SEC, how it's different, how it's going to feel different with Texas and Oklahoma in it, and when it being in Dallas. We talked a little bit about that. And Hayes, we talked about Jaguars' expectations. This is a team with a positive trajectory that feels good about itself, and frankly is one that should.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Can't wait to see him out there next week. And best of luck in Dallas. Have a great trip, and can't wait to listen and to all the great interviews.
Now listen, I care about you.
Yeah.
This has been a very grueling one-day work week for you. Are you okay? Are you tired?
I may have to sort of rethink my schedule.
Yeah, I would say Gatorade. I would say hydrate properly.
Ice bath.
Yeah, ice bath for sure as you get through that. So you got a week off, and you're going to see the Foo Fighters.
Yep, at Fenway Park.
Oh, good. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it should be awesome. And looking forward to it. And when I get back, we'll be watching the Jaguars play, which is what we love to do.
Let's see. Recently, you went to Paris, and now you're going to see the Foo Fighters in Fenway. Let me just say this: in 37 years of doing this radio, I've partnered with very few people who can out vacation me. Okay, your job could be in the balance. Just
it's
so you know
my wife that can out vacation you. It has nothing to do with me.
Oh, but I want you to enjoy.
And I'm glad you guys had fun.
We had a wonderful
and happy anniversary.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. We had a wonderful time, and I'm looking forward to next 3 days in Dallas. Hayes and I will be back together next week as training camp gets underway. And listen, it's not just talk. I think we're really excited about this football season. Kevin Kaplan is. We are. The Jaguars have a good team. There's a lot of times we've been in this. I've been in this business well past the 30 years there's been a franchise here. And every July we talk about the upcoming season. And I am, and a lot of people in our media are half glass half full types. And so I can always find the positive of the upcoming season. I can always find reasons to be enthusiastic about it. But quite frankly, sometimes you got to work at it. Sometimes, sometimes you have to reach and work and talk yourself into, hey, this could go well if blah, 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 blah. And it's not going to be as bad as it was. And they're coming off a 1-win season and they might get to 4 or 5. Well, that's not where the team is now. I agree with you. The floor being 9 wins, I think is a fair comment. I think that's, I do, Hayes. I think that's, and I think the ceiling is well into the double digits, not 14, 15, but I think nobody would be shocked if this team went 12-5. Nobody would be. I'd be way more shocked if they went 5-12. That's the reality. I think 9 somewhere thereabouts is the floor, and I think people are going to be very excited about that. I think that's where people are around this team. And again, Georgia, Florida, FSU is going to be at the ACC Media Days. Very intriguing because other than Georgia, we're not sure what to think about some of the college teams.
It's really going to be a fascinating year. And again, the 12-team playoff changes everything. It's really fun going through the models and how it's going to look like. So it's going to be an amazing season. We'll blink and it'll be over, but I can't wait for it to get started. I'm so excited that it's here.
All right. JJ, I'm on the 5:38 tomorrow morning. Should I call you first or no? You good?
I'll give you a ride.
Okay.
I'll still be up.
5:38, by the way. Is that too early for a flight?
No, I love it.
Is it direct?
It's direct.
That's good.
It's direct, but it's 5:38.
Yeah, so
nobody's
tough,
in the airport. You get through TSA in 5 seconds.
I would agree. Like once you are to me,
once you get up at 3 in the morning,
that's the thing.
Up.
It's the first 5 minutes of getting up.
Yeah.
Once you're up, then I think you're buzzing and bebopping and scatting, and you got your energy. And
I will buzz and bebop. I will do all that. I'll certainly do all that.
Because the airport is like once you're inside, you're wide awake.
Right.
You're right.
It's a whole nother world in there. You don't know. There's people drinking a beer at like 5 in the morning, and it's fine.
That's so
honestly.
True. That is so true. All right, folks, that is our program. Thanks for being part of it. Don't forget, tomorrow, all of our shows, I say all of our shows, Helmets and Heels, prime time in our show, live from Dallas, the SEC Media Days, and that is when football season starts. Hey, have a great week off, man.
All right, have a great trip.
In about a week or so. JJ, we'll talk tomorrow.
Be safe.
That'll do it for our program. See you tomorrow. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.